Hi friends, I am here with a good friend of mine, Scott Starr. Scott has been on the city council for how long?
It was 8 years.
8 years. He recently retired from public service. I don't know how many days, weeks, hours you put into that job, but I'm sure it was a lot.
It was 192 formal council meetings plus all the other meetings besides that, and I don't know how many hours behind that, but all for the city of Wilsonville.
Okay, well, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We live in an absolutely phenomenal city, and it's because of people like you that care as much as you do. So good job. Scott's also a business partner with Academy Mortgage. We've been working with Scott on the lending side of the business and his team for 8 years, 9 years now, I believe.
Probably.
So do a great job there. Have a huge heart to give back, so kudos. What we're talking about today is we are talking about Frogpond community. Big new community in Wilsonville. So to start off with, he is the foremost expert, went through the whole planning process. So I thought I'd pick his brain just a little bit and see what he knows. So just give me just a broad stroke overview of the Frogpond community in Wilsonville.
Frogpond overview. So let's say it's about 500 acres, give or take. It will end up being about 1,900 houses.
Okay.
So a little bit smaller than Villebois, but kind of on that same plane as far as development.
Okay.
And it's divided into 3 sections. 2 of those sections will have schools on it. So Frogpond West will have an elementary school, and Frogpond South will have the new middle school that's
already there. Yep.
And then as far as Frogpond West it's ahead of the other 2 because it was approved and brought into the UGB earlier.
Okay.
So the city brought it into their city limits, and they're building as we speak.
And that's going to be approximately 600 homes?
Give or take a little over 600 homes.
A little over 600, okay.
So the Frogpond West will be primarily all single family. If you took it into slices of 6, it'll be half of them will probably be mid-range houses in the 6,000 to 8,000 square foot lot range. So that'll be half, or about 3 sections.
Okay.
2 sections would be probably the smaller size homes, which would be 4,000 to 6,000 square foot lots, and then 1 section, or about 17%, would be the large lots, which would be 8,000 to 12,000 square feet.
Okay, that's significant size. And if I remember correctly, just hearing you guys go through this process and public opinion, it sounded like people really wanted some more of those large home sites. Is that right?
For sure, we weren't getting those buyers, and what was important about that is those buyers also, a lot of them have jobs here. Mm-hmm. And so the decision makers for large companies, we wanted to be attractive to everybody, not just some groups. And so now we have a section of homes that will be great, an alternative for folks that are maybe on the higher end of the economic spectrum.
Okay.
But choices, some of those choices will be the Street of Dreams this year. So
we just shot a video with Rudy Cadleb, the one of the chairs of the Street of Dreams.
So Rudy, as you know, but Rudy had a lot to do with Villebois, and so now this piece with the Street of Dreams. But I feel really good about the Frogpond community because it really is giving us alternatives for every family in Wilsonville, so no one has to turn around and leave to look for a different city.
Okay. So talk to me for a second about just the livability of the community, because I know that a lot of time, energy, effort, blood, sweat, and tears went into the planning process for Villebois and to make it a truly livable community. So I'm assuming that it was similar with Frogpond.
Yeah, so we started out with options A, B, and C, and ended up with something like J, K, and L. So it went through a lot of iterations.
Yeah, it
a
sounds
lot
like
of
it,
iterations.
Yeah.
But this was good. This really enabled the council and people that supported the council at the city and people from outside, consultants, developers, to come in and really put together, I think, one of the most positive developments that we're going to have in the city. I mean, it will make you proud to drive through that neighborhood when it's done, and show friends, visitors, family, whoever, what this looks like. Frogpond West will have an elementary school in it, but just what we did is we went through to the design of the houses, to minimizing the garage as you look at a house, but to build community. So my experience on the Wilsonville Council was we really tried hard, and I think you see this in Villebois and some of the newer neighborhoods, to build community wherever we were, that just
Absolutely.
allowed people to just to talk and build relationships with each other. And so the houses, when they're done, you'll see, instead of just driving down a road and big fences and it's the backyard. I mean, most of these, when you drive down the road, you'll see the front of the house, and the front of the house, the focus will be on the interior of the community, especially the schools. So there'll be, I mean, within eyeshot, I think it just promotes safety, as well as just more community. Inside of that, you will have bike trails, roads that are easy to navigate, both for cars and for bicycles and for walking. And so again, that theme of just having a neighborhood that you get to know your neighbors, and it's a safe place, and it's easy to migrate around that neighborhood or get to other places within the city. I think we did a good job with that.
Okay, so it sounds like there are going to be a lot of different housing options, anywhere from smaller all the way up the spectrum to larger home sites. How about park space? What sort of parks are they going to offer in the community?
So we'll also have large park spaces in all three, but primarily the large one will be in Frogpond South, which will be adjacent to the new middle school.
Okay.
So that is a large park, many acres there, and we'll probably see ball fields and other things in that park. And then there'll be more pocket parks and smaller parks, like something like what you have in Villebois, in Frogpond West and East. All bringing it all together. So there'll be spaces for a lot of the homes that may not have enough room for kids to play in the backyard or whatever.
So a lot of different housing options, a lot of parks, a lot of park space, 2 schools, a primary school, a middle school. We talked briefly about retail or about commercial, and there's only going to be a little bit. So what does that look like?
Just on the corner of Beckman and Beckman Advanced, Stafford, Wilsonville, there'll be on the northeast side, it's looking like there'll be a section for a small amount of commercial. More or less maybe a convenience store and a few other things, just to allow people to avoid them going into town and getting on the road, but just right in their own neighborhood to take care of some incidental things. But,
Like the Villebois market.
yeah.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, we do have commercial segments in the town, and that's kind of what we wanted to keep. So this is, for the most part, residential.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you're really excited about it. I'm really excited about it. Our phone is starting to ring. We're starting to get some more inquiries and just people wondering what's going on. And right now it's really hard to kind of capture that vision, especially early on in a project like this. So if you were talking to somebody and you know more than almost anybody, being on the city council and being so involved, like how would you paint that picture for them?
Well, there'll be houses that will be built this year and moved in. So that is coming. Obviously, the Street of Dreams is coming, so there's a little bit of a need to make sure that those get done for, what would that be, the end of July, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, so with that, you are definitely going to see that area bustling with home building, just because we're coming into the home building season. And so the infrastructure is pretty much in and ready to go. And that's probably one thing that I should also touch on, and that's the infrastructure. It is really expensive nowadays to put in roads, sewer, stormwater. It's coming to almost $20,000, or actually $30,000 a house, just to get all of this in. And so some of the prices are obviously going to reflect the cost of that, but there's no other way around of trying to make sure that you have all these services built in and not put it on the back of the people who already live here, but the new build pays its way forward. So that's pretty much how it was designed.
Awesome. Well, if you are curious about the Frogpond community and you want additional information and to be kept up to date with the latest and greatest, call Scott. I'm just joking.
Who is not on the city council anymore.
He's not on the city council anymore. He is a great guy, so if you just want to have a little chat with him, great. But actually, just give us a call, because we are going to stay up to date with the latest and the greatest, what's going on in the Frogpond community every single step of the way. As a matter of fact, we have the comprehensive plan here in color. Thank you, Scott, for that. And we're just paying close attention to exactly what's going on. So all of our contact is going to be down below, and you know that we're always here to serve you and to give you information that you need to make a great decision. So, Mr. Scott Starr, thank you for coming out and just talking with us and cluing us in with what's going on in Frog Pond. We appreciate it very, very much.
My pleasure. I think that most people, when they see Frog Pond, they'll say the standard of excellence in Wilsonville for both schools and housing is still at the top of the list. So I'm
Awesome.
pretty happy about that.
You have to have a little bit of vision. It's going to be exceptional. Frog Pond is going to be an exceptional community. So reach out to us. We'll fill you in. Okay, bye guys.